So the first scene starts out with Meryl talking to himself on the roof in a crazy tone, but what gets me the most is that he starts talking to Jesus. Why is it that non-religious people all of a sudden get all types of religious whenever things start to go bad? Now don't even act like you have never done something like that before. Like those times when you got way too drunk and you swore to God that you would never do it again. Those were the days. So I didn't feel any compassion for Meryl when he was on the roof, when he was going through those hard times, because I know he's one of those types of people that when the situation is over, if he did get help, he would go back to being the same old asshole that he's always been. So back at base camp, Glenn pulls up in the Mustang with the damn thing blaring like crazy that could attract all kinds of zombies. People are getting upset with him about that. And then also, Rick pulls up right behind him. So once Rick parks the truck, everybody gets out, everybody's hugging, and then Rick's family is kind of looking around and stuff, and then Lori consults her son, but then Rick hops out the truck, looks at his son, and then just gives him the biggest hug a son and father could ever have. So of course you know Lori's in complete disbelief that she's actually seeing Rick, but then when she hugs Rick, she's actually able to look at Shane directly in the eyes, and then you could tell that there is just this crazy tension there between her and Shane. Now let's talk about the fact that when the real zombie apocalypse happens, that there's no way that this type of scene would ever play out. I mean, first of all, dude, come on. All of the stuff that you've been through and then you somehow miraculously meet up with your family. And then the thing that gets me the most is that she took all of those photos with her. How come nobody in the camp knew that that was Rick? I mean, the people back in Atlanta should have known, hey, aren't you that Rick guy? There's that Lori girl back at the base camp and she's got all kinds of pictures of you. But this is TV, so you know that this story is already fucking awesome. So we find out that Lori was told that Rick was supposed to actually be medevaced to Atlanta, but obviously that never happened. And then the next scene is the infamous, famous TV scene that everybody likes, is the sex scene. But this sex scene was super whack. Let's be real for a second. If you can have sex next to a kid who just shut his eyes 5 minutes ago, then that sex has gotta be the wackest sex in the entire universe. That means there's no smacking, no serious pumping, and definitely you're missing out on my favorite thing about sex. There is no types of moaning. And if there's no moaning, then what the hell are you doing? So back at the base camp, T-Dog tells everybody that he locked the top of the roof so that none of the zombies could get in, and then Rick tells everybody that he wants to go back to Atlanta to help get Meryl, help get the walkie-talkies that he left out there, and also get some guns and ammunition. So usually I don't get thrown for a loop when I'm watching TV shows, but this next scene really got to me. While down at the lake, Carl and Shane are playing around. Shane's teaching him a little bit about how to frog catch, and then Lori comes down there kind of upset that she can't find Carl. Then she does find him playing around with Shane, and then she's like, okay, Carl, don't ever leave my sight, get back to base camp. So I'm thinking, why is she so mad? She knows, she has to know that he's with Shane. So Shane's like, why are you acting like that? You know he's with me and you know he's safe. So then Lori gets pissed off and is like, don't you ever fucking talk to my family again. My family and you are completely off limits. We are no longer on speaking terms. Now this is the part that gets me the most. She drops the bomb and lets us know that Shane actually told her that Rick had died. Now I'm super confused because now I don't know what to think about Shane. Because it's like on one hand Shane could have actually made a mistake and thought that Rick died. And then on the other hand he could have just been like, yeah, Rick died, let me get up in that. So, staying at the river scene, let's talk about your boy Ed. Number one, I can't stand men who beat women. And number two, I can't stand this even more, is women who run back to the men that beat them. So after Shane beats the shit out of Ed for hitting his wife goes over there and is like, oh my god, I'm sorry baby, I'll never do it again, yada yada wooty wooty woo. And I'm thinking to myself, why the hell do women do that? If your significant other ever hits you, you leave their ass and you never come back. You don't go back to them after they hit you and say, I'm sorry baby, I'll never do it again, it won't ever happen, I promise. Who the hell are they to put their hands on you to regulate your life? So anyway, the last scene I want to talk about is back in Atlanta on top of the roof. Meryl is gone, but yet there's absolutely no blood. I mean, Meryl cut off his hand to get out of the handcuffs, but there's no blood anywhere. I mean, if you cut off your hand, there's gonna be blood spewing all out of your wrist. There has to be some kind of blood trail that they can follow. All I'm hoping is that in the next episode, the first scene shows some gigantic blood trail that they can follow, because if there is none, then I don't know what this guy bleeds, because he's obviously not human. So that's going to do it for today's episode. That's going to lead me to the question of the day is, do you guys think that Shane actually led Lori on in that lie that Rick died in order to win her heart? Let me know in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next upload.